In this video, Ellie is going back on the road for the first time in months. Her MOT ran out in June. I think I took her off the road back in May even. So we're going to have some very exciting time. Quick fleet update. The spares Oltcit is gone for the first time in 2 years. There are no Oltcits in my unit. And that's the Oltcit off on its final journey off to Tanygroes Car Dismantlers. Just a reminder of how rotten this car really is. Definitely beyond saving, but if you want any bits, it will be at Tanygroes Car Dismantlers for a bit. The glass is all good, there's some bits of trim, front seats, but really, yeah, she's a bit of a wreck. So it's been taken away by Tanygroes Car Dismantlers. If you want to purchase parts, they may well be up for it, so do get in touch with them, they're good people. So yeah, we got Tuck in here, Miss Daisy is in here, still covered in her rally splatter. Really must get her out and give her a clean next week. Giselle back under wraps. Daihatsu awaiting parts up the back, and poor Myrtle is awaiting time, of which I have precious little. But let's go and refuel, and then we'll take Ellie for her MOT. Oh yeah, this is such a sweet engine. So a reminder for those who are perhaps relatively new to the channel, there's probably been quite a few people join the channel since this car came off the road. I bought this car in the year 2000, restored it over a few years, and then by 2015 rotten as a pear, and I was faced with selling this car. And some very kind friends of mine said, oh, we should start a crowdfund, and I just started the channel then. And the purchase of the panels to restore this car, the body shell itself, not the wings and doors, that was 1100 quid, and that was paid for by crowdfunding, which is just amazing. I can't really believe that happened even now. Yeah, so we have a very long relationship together, and it means an awful lot to me and clearly to people who watch the channel as well. So we'll go and get some fuel and continue this discussion. Oh, I've missed this noise. There we go, all refueled. I can get on our way to the MOT station, Madeira and Havard in Tanygroes. Do I use, because the problem with older cars is finding people who understand them and understand that things are very, very different in a 2CV compared to, shall we say, a more conventional car. So it can be a struggle to find someone of the right ilk. Lovely little engine. Bit of induction roar. Yeah, lovely. I really hadn't realised just how bad that last engine had got. It was so noisy. Although you'll hear plenty of wind noise. 2CVs are not quiet machines at all. I have got the little vent flap open beneath the windscreen for a bit of very necessary ventilation. The only thing I'm thinking is a mild issue. The clutch bite is far too high on the pedal, so I do need to try and sort that out. Simple adjustment, shouldn't be too much bother, but we'll give her a full service anyway once we've got the MOT out of the way, and just hope nothing else is needed. Yeah, back in my happy place. So a lot of people were asking, weren't there any bits on the Oltcit that could be used on the 2CV? And the answer is no. A very few Oltcits did have an air-cooled flat twin engine, 652, same as the Visa, but the majority had the flat 4 engine out of the Citroen GS, so much more similar to the GSA. That engine is entirely different. It's overhead cam, so one per bank of cylinders, rubber timing belt. Very different beast to the simple 2CV engine. And while in theory you can fit a flat 4 engine to a 2CV, in truth you're probably going to have to stretch the bodywork to make it fit, and you're going to make it horribly front heavy. 2CVs are already front heavy to start with, which is why they tend to understeer more than anything. Longer term, I'm not sure what to do. My friend Colin is going to do a post-mortem on the old engine, and that'll probably help decide what the fate of that unit will be, what happens next. But we shall see. There are a few options. I could go to a 720, but that's quite a big job. Take it to 720cc, you've got to machine the crankcase to accept larger pistons and barrels, but it can be done, and as I know, it's a very effective upgrade. But first of all, I'm just going to see what a nice well-tuned 602 feels like. At the moment, I'm not feeling this is a retrograde step from that 652. Probably a sign of just how tired that 652 was. That engine never felt like it was giving its full potential. Now, the fact that I only managed to do 80 miles an hour on the Autobahn downhill is an indication that engine was not very happy. Oh, I should have had the roof off really, shouldn't I? It's a lovely day. I didn't bring my beanie hat. So I am noticing the lack of that 50cc remarkably. It's in the mid-range, it's just that extra torque that that extra 50cc grants you, and it is amazing what sort of a difference these things make. They don't sound like huge numbers, but it can transform the way a vehicle drives. So we're just driving uphill at the moment, doing about 45 miles an hour. Got a police car behind me, which is typical. I'm driving a car that has no MOT and no tax. Legally, I can drive to an MOT, and there's no requirement to drive to your nearest MOT station either. But you just can't help feeling guilty sometimes, can you? But yeah, overall, it's sounding very, very sweet indeed. So hopefully we will all be good for the NEC next week. Fingers crossed. Currently Friday, so next Friday will be the opening day, and you can all come and look at what a horrible state this car is in. But hopefully that will be your reference point for improvement works that I hope to carry out on this car in the coming years. Not going to happen immediately. There's a lot of money needs spending on this car to make her nice again, but it's something I definitely want to do. I don't really want her immaculate because I use her all year round, quite happy go traipsing down green lanes or whatever. So I don't want an immaculate car but I'm scared to drive anywhere, a la Giselle. And it's the same very much with Tuck, the Invacar. Want to improve her bodywork. We've got osmosis going on with the fiberglass. It needs sorting out. But at the same time, I don't want her looking immaculate. They never looked immaculate back in the day in service. I want it to look like they did back in the day, and I think she does. You know, missing hubcaps, the lot. Well, the news is good. For Ellie doth have a new MOT. Very, very pleasing. So thank you to Danny at Madeira and Havard. There are a few advisories, but it is a pass. Just check my blind spot there. Both the backs of both sills there is a little rot, so even though we had some welding done, it has started rotting again along that edge, and obviously because that side had gone, I kind of knew the other side was going to go, so I'd already got in my mind that that will be the next bit of bodywork to sort out. We've got a minor leak on the exhaust, but I'm probably going to have to replace everything from behind the crossbox because it's all sliding sleeve sections and they won't come apart. So perhaps it's the time to go stainless on that, because otherwise I just keep replacing these bits all the time. It's ridiculous. So probably worth spending the extra on a bit of stainless. Over the bridge here, buddy roll. Woohoo! And there is a slight oil leak from the engine from the oil filter, so that's the one's a bit odd, but I'm planning on changing the oil and filter anyway. The oil looks pretty much brand new, but it's been sitting there for at least 2 years, I should think. I'm not sure when Pete took that engine out, so it's probably worth doing. But yeah, really pleasing. Well done, Ellie. Although she's only done 2,000 miles between tests because of the engine issue, which is appalling. Between the 2019 and the 2020 test, I think, or it might be 18 to 19, she did 8,000 miles in a year, because obviously Croatia quite a long way. But yeah, very, very happy. So we shall hurtle home. It's always pleasing to get an MOT pass. You're never sure, even when you know the car quite well. But yeah, very, very happy. Now I can let Ellie sing This engine really is a proper peach. It pulls very cleanly. So it must be jetted very well. It's now starting to make me wonder, is a 652 actually worth it? Certainly had a lot of problems as a result of fitting that 652. But how many were because of problems with the kit and how many were problems because of this guy is very hard to ascertain. But yeah, now's the time to answer the question. Power less is more. Is that right, or would a little more power be okay? I'm going to spend the next few months reaching that conclusion, I think. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy the open road. Oh, I love this car. I haven't had the joy of chucking a 2CV down a Welsh country lane for far too long. Watch out here, because there's a couple of tricky blind spots. Oh, look at this weather. Oh, this, my friends, is joy. This is what it's about. I've been hurtling around on Welsh roads in a 2CV for 12 years now. Bit of heel and toe. Gorgeous little gearbox. Oh yes. Maybe you don't need more power than this. Oh. Just amazing. So that's it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for your continued support, especially channel members and patrons. Yeah, I can't really thank you guys enough. You allow us to do things like this, and yeah, stay tuned for more adventures of Project Ellie. Bye. Can't be too busy driving. Victory Hoon.